Hey, welcome to Creative Alliance Show. My name's Nick.
Jennie.
And of course, this is the Greater Flint Creative Alliance Showcase and the Flint Underground Network, and we're happy to be here with you today. We have a great show for you guys.
And if you notice, a little change of pace, we've decided to film it at the Churchill's bar, so that's why we have beer here. We're not at the local today, just for a change of pace this month. And this is where we have our meetings, by the way, so you can have a beer at our meetings. We also have our art walks. Usually we have an art walk art here, and this month we're having the dating game. Well, actually for the month of February art walk, we're going to have the dating game again, and it'll be right here.
Right, so let's talk about that a little bit. So yes, the Creative Alliance generally meets here most Wednesdays. This is that Churchill's we're always talking about at 7 o'clock. Of course, it's not the third Wednesday, which is where we have our open mic.
At Good Beans.
At Good Beans Cafe. But we also do really cool stuff here during the art walks. It's a little bit off the beaten path for most people. You know, we're a little further than Buckham, but that's worth kind of the effort.
To the river.
We're close to the river, but that's worth the effort. So we always have cool art in here. If it's not us, it's Flint Underground, which is a group of local artists, not the Flint Underground Network, of course. But this art walk, not only do we have the Flint Underground Artists Network doing the art show, but we also have the dating game. And I'm sure you guys have heard about that in the past, when me and Jennie had hosted it. This year, we have a pretty special guest. Not only is it the day before Valentine's Day, so it's a perfect time to throw up a dating game, but the host is actually going to be the first couple that we've ever got together on the dating game.
They're still together over a year later.
Tyler Zickafoos and Rashana. So we're really excited.
First time they met was on our dating game show.
Well, you know, blindly. They blindly met. And then we got them drunk on the date.
Yeah.
And you guys actually see that video. It's still up online on flintunderground.org. So we're really excited to have them. We decided to kind of change pace today and have a little session here.
Sure.
So we got a great show for you guys. I'm gonna jump past a few of these kind of standard things that we say, but the one thing I do want to say is that you're either watching us on one of three places. You're either watching us on our YouTube channel, the Flint Underground YouTube channel, flintunderground.org, or you're watching us on public access, channel 17 and Comcast.
6 o'clock on Mondays.
At 6 o'clock on Mondays. Now, this is not the only time you can see us at 6 o'clock on Mondays. In fact, we're on every single Monday doing something, showing something in terms of art activity at Flint, whether that's the art walk, the
Creative Alliance Show.
Creative Alliance Show, which you watch right here, a Creative Collab Night, which is our open mic, open canvas that we have once a month.
Support your local poet.
Yeah.
That's filmed here.
So many great things. In addition to that, again, we've had...
Oh, this month we're going to have a comedy. We're going to have comedy too. It's going to be at the end of one of our January art walk.
Oh man, so you definitely want to stick around.
That's
At the Soggy Bottom. So check us out any Monday at 6 o'clock. You're bound to see something cool. You'll probably see some of our guests on there because we've seen them around town. You know, it's only so big.
In fact, that's who one of our guests are. Is the hello guy.
Oh, I love that guy. He's hilarious. So it's kind of like a Where's Waldo. You can go through the videos and find the people you like. And usually Jennie's pretty good about labeling them too.
Derek Williams.
Yeah, Derek Williams. And, you know, in addition to Derek on the show, we have a really, really special thing for you guys. We're going to go to the practice space of the TomToms and check them out. And if you haven't heard them yet, they're pretty awesome. They just expanded their band in the last little bit. They're working on albums, so we're really excited to get a chance to check them out when they're out there. If you don't know, if this is your first time watching or you never listen when I say this part, the Creative Alliance is a group of artists and activists. You know, we're anything from dancers to writers to poets to performers to designers to crafters. Whatever you imagine, that's what we are. And we're coming together as a grassroots organization in downtown to kind of advocate for the arts, create events, and do cool stuff like this, which is really kind of putting our artists on the scene, putting them out there for the world to view.
Yeah, if you want to know what's going on in Flint, boy, you just look at any of our videos.
You can watch our videos, or you can come do an event and check us out in real life. Now, if you want to become a member of the CA, you can go to this email right here and get a hold of Jennie and ask her for a little more information, and I'm sure she'd love to give you something, or you could just stop on by Churchill's that first, second, and fourth Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock, or check us out at our open mic on the third Wednesday of the month at Good Beans Cafe. So again, today's show is going to be great. Derek Williams on the show. He's a local guy going to talk about his work at Burning Man, which is this kind of cool festival out in the desert, and then begin the TomToms.
And also, I wanted to talk about, before we get too far along, about the Flint Song Contest. We are looking for a song to represent Flint. If you have a Flint song, then come to one of our collab nights, the third Wednesday of each month at the Good Beans Cafe between now and the third
So you got basically
Wednesday
4 more chances.
Play your song, then you will be in the contest. And what we're going to do is we're going to have an event where we just play these clips, and have a public vote. If you win, you get to be, you get to have a 5-hour studio time with Ken Van Wagner in his studio, so that you can, get a good version of your song, and then you can play it on the Kettering radio. You will be playing it live at Junebrew at Juneteenth, and the aerosol and audio events, maybe some others, we get them lined up. And now the new thing is that Tom Sumner is going to interview you on his radio show.
Oh, I love that show.
And then we're also going to, of course, have you on the Craig Lion show too. So you get a little bit of, if you're a musician, it's a great way.
There's no cost at all. You just gotta show up to one of our open mics and let us know you're doing a Flint song.
Great.
It's pretty cool. Great opportunity for you guys out there. And I want to talk about opportunities. There's another thing that we got going on, and the deadline for this issue is kind of this week, so you might miss this one. But the U of M Flint has this fine arts and literary magazine called The Quad. Have you heard of The Quad?
Yeah, I've heard of it from you. It's great.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen a copy of it too.
Yeah, it's getting better every time. This last issue was the first full color. So they're doing entries of art, poetry, prose, plays, whatever you can imagine. Right now, it's all free to submit. They do about 800 copies of this printed version that they give out to community members. And it's really just a great opportunity to kind of get your work out there, start building your resume, whether that's your 3D work, your paintings.
It's a nice quality color.
Oh, it's great.
Magazine,
I mean, they really put the money into it. It's full color. It's only going to keep getting better. Every issue's been better. So you guys are probably going to miss this deadline. But what's great about the Quad is it's a rolling deadline. So it means submit today. Whenever you see this at quamagazine.com, it's part of Submittable. It'll link you to it. And you'll still be eligible for the next issue. It's just going to keep going throughout the year. We got one going on now. It's going to be published here in April, and then one going on for the fall. So there's really no reason not to do it.
And you want to talk about the East Village?
Sure. Just briefly, you may know about East Village Magazine. It's a nonprofit news periodical. It comes out monthly. It's been in the community for 38 years. Just recently, the editor passed away, so we're kind of working on keeping it going. And I just kind of want to put that shout out to there if there's any journalists in Flint, anybody that's trying to get into journalism, really understand kind of that AP style that's used everywhere in the big leagues. You can get a hold of me. My email is nicpublishing@gmail.com. It's right there on the screen. And
you also have advertisers?
yeah, we're also always looking for ads. It reaches about 8,000 households, 16,000 to 30,000 readers every single month. It's one of the cheapest ad rates in the whole city. It hasn't really been raised since the 90s. So it's definitely something you guys shouldn't pass up.
And I think you're being kind of modest. Don't you want to talk about the fact that you're the second generation?
No, but I'm fine being modest. I just want to say that, things like this are kind of a rarity. Anymore, you look at the magazines that you have out there, and no offense to them, of course, but My City Magazine is a great periodical. Other ones kind of less so. Your Magazine, Downtown Flint Revival. A lot of these for-profit magazines these days, they're really just pushing ads. And that's not what we're about. We're here to be a real information source and a training source for young journalists in the community. So if you have a passion, you just don't have the direction quite yet, you should consider writing for East Village Magazine, or if you got an ad you want to put out there, be sure it's seen. We'll definitely do that as well. But really the purpose is to kind of be an information source.
And this is a great black and white magazine with a wonderful photograph on each cover.
Yeah.
A little bit about that photographer?
Yeah, I know about the photographer. It's been kind of a neighborhood thing. The original editor is my uncle. My father does a lot of photography. And it's really just kind of something that has stayed the test of time. I think it's probably the only kind of program that was granted from Mott's back in the 70s that's still around today. And, despite whatever kind of hiccups there are in the process, there's definitely a need, and there's been a show of support for the community, so we're going to try to keep it going for this next year. Yeah, so I think I'm about time to read some events and see what we got this month. Oh, lots of good stuff. So February 6th, at the GFAC here in Flint, there's going to be Artistic Visions, which is an open mic they have going. Starts at 5 o'clock.
I've heard lots of good things about that. I keep wanting to go to that. It's just I forget, or I just haven't been there yet.
Well, check it out, February 6th. Also February 6th, if you're not going to that, at 7 o'clock, the Whaley Historic House and Museum in Flint is having Michigan History Happy Hour. It sounds like you probably get to hear some history and drink some beer. You can't beat that. Down in Detroit at the New Dodge Lounge that same Friday, February 6th at 8 p.m. Decker Street Music Department's going to be playing a show with Primitive Parts, Black Fruit, the Moench, and others. So check that out. Starts at 8 p.m. at New Dodge. We've had them on the show.
Yeah, Decker Street. That's why I mentioned that one in the events, because it's in Detroit, but it's Decker Street.
Yeah, you got to support your Flint.
The Surfer Rock guys.
The Surfer Rock guys. And then if you are here in town, you don't want to go very far, you come to Churchill's that same night, February 6th, and see Barbosa Brothers. Starts at 10 p.m. Should be a good show. The next night, Saturday, February 7th, down in Detroit at the Tangent Gallery, there is a Bass Reloaded event where they have different DJs playing, including Kill Paris, Gitter, Dodge, and Fuski. It starts at 8 p.m. It's actually going to be put on by Tangent at the Haston Street Ballroom. You can buy tickets for that. But if you're still in Flint, you know, we always can use you down here at Churchill's. We're having Support Your Local Poet.
Yeah.
Hosted by me and Ether Real, and also DJ Mike Lay on the way back. Yeah, it's a great event. You may know 2 months ago we lost a very dear friend of ours in the Creative Alliance, and also the founder of that event, Ryan Bellows. So we just want to keep that going. We want to show a lot of support. We want to kind of bring the energy. So come on out, it's free. From 9 to 10 is the poetry, and then from 10 to 2 is nice music time. So you really can't beat it. That's here at Churchill's on the 7th. February 13th, there is a collaborative painting for Claude Miller, who was a local artist that recently passed away.
We've had so many people.
It's been a rough couple months here. And that'll be at Page's Bookstore. It's put on.
Claude Miller's had a lot of. I've interviewed him a few times on the videos for Art Walk,
Oh,
and
he's
also
great
Pages.
work.
He had an
Oil
exhibit at
paintings.
Pages just last
I think
December.
it might still be up. So
Yeah.
check out Page's Bookstore. That's where this event's
He's a
also
great
going to be on the
artist.
13th. And it's kind of just to show your support and kind of come together as an arts community. That same night, you can come over to Churchill's to 6 p.m. and check out both the Flint Underground Art Show, which we were kind of talking about earlier, but also following that at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Oh wait, no, 10 o'clock. Well, yeah, 9 o'clock is when
Let's
the dating game
tentatively
starts.
say 9 o'clock. You can see the
Yeah.
dating game,
Dating
hosted
game's
by
at
Tyler
9.
Zickafus.
Music
and
starts at
Rashonda.
10.
And you know, that's always a fun event. You really can't beat it. That same night, if you're not going to either of those, maybe just check out Ether Real's poetry event, going to be at the Lux Lounge over on Bristol. And it's a spoken word night, open mic, kind of a cool performance, you know, lots of great stuff going on. Unfortunately, it's just all on the same night. So if you don't feel like dealing with the Valentine's Day dating game scene or any of that fun stuff, you can definitely check out something else fun, a little more up your alley in the spoken word event over at Lux Lounge on the 13th at 7. Saturday, February 14th, the Flint Handmade is having a Valentine's Day craft fair at the Flint Farmers Market from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It'll include 20 local artisans with handmade goods that make great gifts, great last-minute gifts for your Valentine's Day sweetheart. Also, February 20th at the Aloha Gamers Lounge, there's going to be Horace and a few other bands and then some art starting at 8 p.m. And that's at the Aloha Gamers Lounge on Door Highway. February 21st, Old Fashioned Quilting Bee starts at 10 a.m. at Whaley Historic House. Is that Flint Handmade?
Yes.
Oh, cool. So that's another cool Flint Handmade event. February 27th, I think out in Grand Rapids at the 20th Street Show Place, there is a on-site glass blowers competition. So all you cool glass blowers of Flint, check this out. It's going to be February 27th, apparently through March 1st, out at the 20th Street Show Place in Grand Rapids. At the same time, apparently there's also a medical marijuana conference, a Michigan Medical Marijuana Conference, 9th annual, and I think that's going to be what the glass blowers competition is a part of.
Right.
March 28th, for all the moms out there, there's a Mom and Mom Spring Sale at the First Metaphysical Church, 10 a.m. And April 11th, and this is a really cool event, Flint HorrorCon. Who's had on this event? Excuse me, Flint Horror Collective presents Beyond the Book at Flint Book Library. And that's Saturday, April 11th at 2 p.m. And it's kind of just a larger delving into kind of horror fiction and things like that, which is a little different genre.
A lot of independent filmmakers that make horror movies too will have them.
And there's a lot of writers in Flint as well. There's a lot of independent
writers
filmmakers and horror writers. So it's really kind of a cool scene. Chris Ringler, we've had him on the show. Different people like
Glenn Birdsall.
Glenn Birdsall is a really good writer. I mean, I wouldn't.
Fritz, what's his real name?
Yeah, there's a lot of talent. So those are the events we got for you guys today, and I hope you can make it up to a few of them. Oh yeah, there's a lot of good ones. And you know, well, now that we're filming at the Flint Local most of the time, our advertising costs and our production costs have gone way down, and so we can pass on that savings to you guys. So if you want to be an underwriter which means you produce commercials that are attached to this or any of the other Flint Underground shows. You can do that for only $10. I know, what a deal. For one 60-second commercial or two 30-second commercials that can be placed on any of the videos, whether that's Art Walk, whether it's this show, you know, you can really get it out there.
That's a good one to be on.
Lab Night's a great one. Lots of people. So you can really get your stuff out there to a new and very awesome audience. And you can hold a Jennie right here if you're interested in doing that.
Okay. Anything else? I think we should go to those underwriters then, shouldn't we?
Yeah, let's do that.
Is there anything else you wanted to say? Okay.
Page's Bookstore is locally owned and located at 132 West 2nd Street in downtown Flint at Buckham Alley. It is a showcase for local authors and artists. Please visit Page's during the second Friday Art Walk in downtown Flint.
Welcome to the Lunch Studio, Flint's fresh alternative. We've been downtown Flint since 2001. When we first opened, there were only a couple places downtown where people could get an affordable and healthy lunch. Now there are a lot more choices for the growing downtown community, and that's a good thing.
At the Lunch Studio, we serve lunches made with the best ingredients at the best possible prices and always with a smile. All our soup and chili is made in-house daily. We have daily lunch specials and delicious breakfast sandwiches too. If you're in a hurry or on a short break, call ahead, dine in, or grab it and go. We offer many healthy and vegetarian options, and we can also accommodate most any special diet. We also offer half of 2 different sandwiches in case you just can't make up your mind.
We buy locally whenever possible, and we're very active in the community. We are proud and excited to be a part of the revitalization going on in downtown Flint, a place that we have always loved. Here at the Lunch Studio, we think lunch should be one of the highlights of your day.
All right, and we're back. We're sitting here with Derek Williams. How you doing, Derek?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. So we got you on the show today because you are, by far, in Flint, the most expert person I know about Burning Man.
Yeah, I guess so. I've worked there for a while. Well,
How many years now?
It'll be my 3rd this year.
Okay, so you have a pretty good sense of what happens, what it's about. Can you just, for everybody at home that hasn't heard of Burning Man or hasn't been there, could you give them a sense of what it is?
Well, I mean, most people around here probably been to some sort of festival, and it's kind of like that, except for that everybody's a participant and a spectator. There's no, every show that you see, every piece of art, everything that's there is brought by somebody that buys a ticket to get in. They all go there and they are the entertainment. Your ticket, all their books are open, and your ticket values go to, what you pay goes towards porta potties and land rental fees and stuff like that. It's all open, so you're able to see where all the money goes. There is some support staff, but it's not a big profit-making scheme.
So to clarify, it's like a music festival without any music.
Kind of. There is music, but it's just like what people make happen. A lot of big names play there. Like Skrillex flew his jet in, he was on Facebook and things like that. Like showing pictures like he got into Burning Man. He
Didn't have a ticket, did he?
He bought tickets, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they flew his jet in there. They have their own airport during the event.
Their own airport?
Yep, it's actually, I've heard it's the busiest airport in Reno for those 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because people take off and land to fly over the thing and get pictures and things like that. But they have like 10 principles that deal with like radical inclusion, the radical self-sustainability, like taking care of yourself and also being whoever you want to be, making sure like it's all about free expression, whether you can be as crazy or not crazy as you want to be, and not judged for it.
That sounds like a pretty cool concept. Now, radical inclusion, is that radical enough to say if I don't have a ticket, they'll just let me in?
No.
It's not too radical, is
It's not really. Inclusion is probably wrong.
How much are tickets?
They're around $380. Yeah, it's
That's
a
not
How
very
many days?
inclusionary. I'm just going to put it out there in the world.
It's a 10-day event now, and you can see how much they pay for everything online. Like the biggest expense is the actual permit through the BLM, because they rent the desert from the BLM to have the event. I think it's like $1.5 million they pay for that. And the next two biggest expenses are art and porta potties. So getting rid of human waste is a big deal because they're very big on leave no trace. When you go out there,
What does that mean?
it means that when they leave and when the festival's over, the desert has to be exactly the same way as it was when they found it, because it's a national park land. So they actually do a survey afterwards to make sure that there's nothing left. They have I think it's 70 places, I'm not exactly sure the number, but 70 like 6-foot circles where they check to see where, like how many square inches of debris you can have, whether it's a piece of glitter, a pistachio shell, anything like that, and they have to pass the test happening in the next year. So they spend about 100 people spend about a month after the event's over doing nothing but sweeping the entire area, and they walk it back and forth. Like every single square inch gets checked for anything.
And this is part of the DPW that you worked for?
Yep.
Okay. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Well, that's a separate group called Restoration,
Okay.
which I have worked for before. They have a Department of Public Works. They set up, when they build Burning Man, it's a city, and the city has a square 9-mile perimeter, which I guess is bigger than Amsterdam, square footage wise. And they have a Department of Public Works, just like anywhere else. They have roads, they have a map, they have a book of events that people register beforehand and put together. There's a lot of things that they do. I'd say it's probably 500 to 1,000 employees total that work for DPW. And it's named that because it's a city that's temporary. They have their own post office, things like that. And it's Department of Public Works for the city of Black Rock City, which only exists when the event's going on. And actually, Google Maps this last year, they did a map of Black Rock City, and you can go there and do street view of the entire event and see it on 3D too.
Interesting.
So if you were camped, like they name it out, it's based on the clock. So like 2 o'clock and A, B, C, D, all the rings are named by letters. And then like, so you camped at like 2 o'clock and D. You can go and type into Google 2 o'clock and D, and it will bring you right there and you'll be able to see where you camped. So it's neat, yeah.
So usually with, and just a quick detour, usually with the Google Maps or whatever, they have a car or a vehicle actually going street to street.
Yeah.
They have a similar, they like a dude with a cart pushing it all the way through.
Well, they're pretty secretive, Google, on what car it is, but they have a bunch of art cars out there. There's no cars allowed in Burning Man, but there are art cars allowed. It has to be an art project.
Art car, just talk about that a little bit.
Art cars vary from something that like you and I could make at our house that is just slightly crazy, like say looks like a fish or a lot of them shoot fire, things like that. Fire is a big theme there. A lot of things shoot fire. A lot of it's supposed to be dangerous. It actually says in a ticket that you might die. Like yeah, you sign a waiver, buy a ticket, and some people have died.
Yeah.
It's always a horrible accident, but it has happened. But the art cars go from that all the way up to hundreds of thousands of dollars pieces of equipment that are mobile, like sound stages. They have full raves around them, basically.
So you would say the people that are coming to this event are primarily artists themselves, just trying to get their art out there.
That's one group for sure. I think the people primarily coming are people that are interested in the concept of it and kind of have heard through the grapevine what it is. I think there's 3 different documentaries about it now too that probably some knows. But they are one of the few places that actually funds art as well. You can apply, every year they have art grants, and one of their biggest 3 or 4 expenses is art, and they actually fund art, and that's a huge deal. You're able to submit an art application to them if you want, and then they will fund you to build your project if they like it, and that's a huge step and there's regional events everywhere too. There's a big, all over the world now. There's a big one in South Africa, a big one in New Zealand, Spain.
What's the nearest one to us here?
It's in Empire, Michigan. I think it's Empire, and it's called Lakes of Fire. And there's a lot of people from Detroit that are involved in, like burner culture has been a new thing, and actually they have a nonprofit now. Burning Man has their own nonprofit that's doing a lot of like outreach type events. And I've been to the one in Michigan a couple of times, and it's nice, it's fun, it's a small event, probably about 1,200 people or so. It's at Lefty Lake Campground, if I'm not mistaken, and they have a lot of people from Chicago and Detroit tend to be there. It sells out quickly. It's near where a bunch of other big events are as well. It's like quite the attraction for places.
Yeah, I've heard of Empire as kind of one of those spots.
Yeah, it's known for that, which is good. I mean, I'd love to see something happen in the Flint area where we have huge vast amounts of empty flat cement. You could have an amazing event in the middle of nowhere where.
How are you gonna get your tent stakes in?
Well, I mean, just like an art show. wouldn't have to necessarily be a camping event, but there's some people out in the California area that
Chevy
have.
the Hall.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. What if we do some sort of free public art festival?
Like Free City?
It wouldn't even
Yeah, a free Black Rock City. I think that's a great concept.
But they wouldn't even have to have it to be free. I mean, people could even buy tickets or something like that. That's like details that could be mashed out. But there are people, like, there's a group called the Survival Research Labs, if I'm not mistaken, SRL. And they loosely spawned kind of Burning Man. They were big back before Burning Man was big, kind of. And they were having a contest to find a place to perform because they used things like actual jet engines in their shows, and it was a very big, crazy, dangerous thing. But they need a big open space to do it in.
Right.
We're primed for something like that. I don't see why that's not happening.
Well, maybe you'll be the guy that makes it happen.
Could be. I've loosely talked about it a couple times with people who might be able to tell me yeah. And
Well, now you're on syndicated television, so I can see what'll happen.
Well, not exactly syndicated.
Well, it's syndicated on both the internet, on television. So.
Okay.
So let's talk about some of the people at Burning Man. If
How
I
many?
Well, how many, and what's the average level of crazy people kind of aspire to? You know what I mean?
It's 70,000 approximately people that are out there. It varies greatly. I mean, you definitely see a lot more people. I mean, you'll see a lot of nudity. You'll see a lot of people dressed in all different very crazy costumes and stuff. Basically, whatever you want to do, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, go for it. And it's a lot of emphasis on respect. If you want to be as crazy or not as crazy as you want to be, there's a lot of emphasis putting on not shaming somebody for either. You know, if you want to just sit and read a book, go for it. I mean, I shouldn't think about you or degrade you in any way for doing that or going out and being the most ridiculous, naked, crazy person you want to be, you know?
So it's more of a libertarian than an anarchist type culture.
Well, there was a big libertarian writer, I can't think of his name right now, but he went to this last Burning Man and wrote about it extensively because it was like a big libertarian adventure for him. Mm-hmm. And you can probably find it and put links later. But his story was widely published. He had a great time. He loved it. And you get that. Puff Daddy wrote about it and said changed his life. You know?
He changed his name too.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great networking opportunity as well because you get people from all walks. I mean, I can't remember who said, but somebody talked about how art is a great connector because you get people at every socioeconomic standard together through art, and I think that happens there. They do a lot of their ticket prices are always changing. They do a lot of subsidized. I think it's about 4,000 tickets or something like that they do that are low income tickets that they subsidize. And also, if you really try hard, there are a lot of volunteer opportunities through different camps as well, and they'll provide you a ticket or
like a kitchen or something of that nature,
yeah,
kind of like a rainbow.
Yeah, kind of, but we're building a camp and things like that because it's the desert. There's a lot of work too. It's like rainbow in some ways. Yeah.
So let's talk about someone in your position as a DPW worker. How early do you get to the event? What do you do during the duration of those 10 days, and then what do you do afterwards?
I'd say a lot of the people out there that are the longer term workers are probably there from 5 to 8 weeks. This year I'm probably going to be there for 6 months, which is a really long time to be in the desert for sure. It may change to 4 months and 6 months. I'm not exactly sure what's going on yet, but I haven't got all the details yet, but probably 6 months. And they have a full-time office in San Francisco that is the headquarters for the full event, and they had a thing called Black Rock Solar. They have a big solar program where they subsidize solar power in Nevada and California. Very cool. And they have Black Rock Arts where they help artists out. They're really branching out and becoming like a multi-tiered type situation. They just became a 501c3 like in the last 6 months or something like that.
The solar group?
No, like a separate branch of Burning Man that's like an umbrella everything else that they're doing. And they so they have year-round employees. I'd say there's probably about 100 of them. I don't know exactly for sure. But there's a full-time office. They have liaisons to go around regionals as well. I'll be working with their automotive department most likely. And they have a fleet of vehicles, and I'll be working on semis to cars to sometimes airplanes, weird stuff like that. It's kind of anything that's mechanical we kind of fix.
It's awesome.
So that's pretty good.
Craziest story.
It's a very interesting job for sure. It's a lot of work. Everybody, I'd say most people that work there, you'd be surprised at how long and hard they work. It's a lot goes into putting on. It's a big performance. Basically, right. It's a big event, and like we have Fence Day. Everybody pitches in for Fence Day, and they put it in about a day. It's actually a little shorter than a day now.
That's the full 9 miles?
Yeah, the full 9 miles is put in by hand by the workers. You just pound it, and there's pictures online of Fence Day and stuff like that. There's a few published photographers online. If you just Google Burning Man, you'll probably end up with 10,000 images of different over the years and time lapse, and it's drawn a lot of really good documentation.
Yeah.
Like people that filmed it in different media. There's one guy doing tintype out there last year, and he was actually doing a full, like he would take your picture and print it onto a piece of tin, like back in I don't know what year or whatever, the tintype, and he'd give you the piece of tin afterwards. And there's a couple people that have cameras set up in the mountains nearby, and they do time lapse every year and things like that. It's very cool. The newest documentary is called Spark, a Burning Man story, if I'm not mistaken. And it showed, there was one showing in Detroit, and I think it was a bunch of people that were all in part of the Burning Man group as far as the local events are concerned, the regional. A lot of them and some of the workers from out west got together and bought tickets ahead of time so they actually have enough, to get a showing of it. It was cool. Yeah, so it's a good way to network. I mean, there's a lot of people around. You can travel with it. It's an interesting life. A lot of the tales you hear about people working events and traveling with whatever group, it's alive and well. It's going on.
For all the gypsies out there, go check out Burning Man.
Oh yeah.
And then, lastly, I hear a lot of kind of cross chatter that there's not really a definitive meaning behind burning the man. And that it's kind of for everybody to kind of take it upon themselves and internalize that. Is that something that you feel you find some meaning in, or just like fire?
Well, honestly, I've never been I wouldn't say I'm even that big of a partier, to tell you the truth. I mean, I enjoy going there and I enjoy my time, but I think you get whatever you're looking for. It also gives you the opportunity to figure out what you're looking for when so many different things are going on. You're able to say, do I want to do this? And if that's available to do, then you're able to really see that firsthand and know, is that how I want to live or not? And I think variation is very important in life, period. You need options. But there's 2 big burns every year. There's the main effigy, which is the man, and it's different every year. And then there's also the temple every year, which is a big burn. The temple it's kind of like a more mourning thing for people. I mean, you can make it wherever you want, basically, but it's become a place where everybody puts all of their, it's covered in messages about people that have died or they've lost and things, and it's just like a really sacred place where people leave all these mementos of people that they miss and love, or messages they write on all over it, and they burn that. A lot of people see that as a release, and this last year I was out there, and it was a really beautiful thing because it's so windy and an interesting climate in the desert. Tornadoes of smoke were coming off it, and just one after another was coming off of it while it was burning. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, because it's huge. I mean, it's probably 30 feet tall. And the man is really big as well, and that's it's always different. There's a lot of people. I mean, it's kind of, I've been up close in what's called the inner circle, which is kind of reserved for workers, I guess, like certain workers and stuff. And then I've also been out with general population just because I want to experience that too. And it can be really packed. I mean, I
believe it.
Yeah, it gets, some people like that a lot. I personally moved back further because I'd rather not be in that crowded situation.
You're not trying to be in the mosh pit.
But it's, fire's the thing, it's always with other people. I mean, there's lots of different interpretations about how fire affects you, etc. But the temple was really beautiful this last year. And I think that part of it, it's different every year. And not only that, but part of it is being able to experience it and have a different part that really stands out to you every year. And I think that's just something you should bring to most of your life. And also, there's a lot of emphasis on non-attachment. I mean, I've worked on the man last year. I helped out, and there's a team of quite a few people that spend weeks and weeks and weeks building this thing and then burn it. And it's this really interesting concept that a lot of people, it's an interesting concept that a lot of people aren't too familiar with. And when you actually see it, I think especially if you've worked on it, I mean, it isn't something that you probably want to experience. You don't want to just give everything away necessarily, but if you do have a loss in your life, whether it's a person, a pet, a loved one, a material thing, I think that the whole concept bleeds over into all those different areas, and it helps you deal with the fact that stuff goes away.
That's awesome. So what are your top 3 tips for a new burner going out this year for the first time?
Wow.
Top 3.
I'd say meet as many people as possible. Network like crazy, you know. That's part of it also, I think.
Meet those people and network with them.
Yeah, like definitely, because I mean, there's a support group. You should be self-sustainable. That's one. They have a guide for people who it's their first year, and it's a survival guide, and it goes over everything you should have because you're supposed to be self-reliant, self-sustaining while you're there. But you'll be exposed to things you've never experienced before, and maybe you've only read about, maybe you've never read about. And then I would say make an adventure out of being out there too. If you can, like, I'd find somebody on Craigslist to ride with or something like that, because you're going to meet that'll give you the opportunity to meet interesting people where you're at. They're already doing crazy stuff you probably haven't heard about. And then if you ride out there with them and get to know them, 4 days on the road or so from here, it's a lot of time to get to know some new interesting people. So I would say make an adventure going out there, meet people while you're there. That'll help you be connected to what's going on here in the future as well if you do have a great time. I think that the third thing would be just pay attention to how you change. I'd say after your second or third day in, you'll start to realize like the shock value wears off, and then you realize that you are the shock value itself. You know, I mean, you become the entertainment, which is what you're supposed to be. You're both. You're always people. There's no paid or
there's no separation.
Yeah, there's no separation. So, and then you could be wearing the craziest thing you've ever seen, or nothing at all for that matter, and then be out there and realize it's not a big deal at all. You know, it's just like it becomes normal.
So if you come, real quick, sidebar, if you come into the festival naked, are they going to yell at you until you get in the festival? If you're just driving naked?
Well,
is that a thing?
No.
There are laws against that?
One of the more famous guys, there's different departments. One of the departments is gate. And they check like if you have an RV, they'll check make sure there's no stowaways and things like that. Sometimes they're lenient, sometimes they're not. Depends on how, you know, they have some power and things, you know, but it's really hard to get. They have radar and stuff. You can't get into it. I mean, there's actually a radar that will see you if you're trying to sneak in. It's really...
Like at the airport, like those scanners?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, not like the body scanners.
Because they're going to see you naked anyways, what you're saying.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah.
There's one guy there named, he goes by Naked Bob, who is
at the gate?
Yeah, at the gate. He's naked
Is he
all the time.
relative, Nick?
I don't know. He's
probably your father.
He's an old man. You know, I don't know. He might be. My mom was a lot cooler than I thought.
I did have that weed leaf tattoo right here.
Yeah.
Well, what about
him?
What about Nick Bob?
Naked Bob.
Naked Bob. Oh,
Yeah.
He calls himself Naked Bob. Oh.
Yeah.
Because he's naked.
Okay.
You see.
Yeah. And I've only met him once or twice myself,
Okay.
and I've never really had a conversation with the guy, but I've heard.
Yeah, it'd be
his
a little
legend.
uncomfortable probably to be talking to him for a while.
Yeah, and then, well, it's funny because you go, there's kind of dichotomy as soon as you get there. There's quite the juxtaposition, which is a lot of the event is.
I like big words too.
And then, like as soon as you go to get the gate, it's like, are you hiding anything? You know, it's very
Militant.
Yeah, it's very militant in a way. I mean, that's.
Has he ever hid anything when he came?
Well, people have hidden things, like trying to get through and stuff. They find a lot of people every year, but it's kind of like militant, like a guard thing. And then you after that, you go see the greeters, and the greeters greet you, and it's kind of like super hippie, like give you hugs. They make you get out, make like a snow angel in the dirt and stuff. And it's like the exact opposites. It's like kind of like harsh, like all like dark colors and stuff. Like everybody basically wears black at gate, and they dress up like clowns. Like kind of like they do different.
Like ICP, right?
A lot of we were thinking about doing a joke one time where we actually, because the Gathering Juggalo was their big event,
Yeah.
and everybody was talking about maybe dressing up like that for the day it actually occurs and trying to mess with people and saying, yeah, like
Welcome to the gathering.
Yeah, welcome to the gathering, just to screw with them, which I think would be hilarious. But they're definitely very different events. So you go through that, and then it's like this extremely like free loving hippie type vibe you get from it. It's all like colors and white with all like pretty like pastels and things. And it's like, 10 minutes in the event, you've already experienced these two extremes. And it's like, what goes on from there?
That's awesome. So it really does prepare you for anything at that point.
Yeah, it sets the stage for quite an adventure. I mean, if Puff Daddy writes about publicly how it changed his life.
Puff Daddy writes, that's right.
Yeah, he does write. Yeah, and Skrillex and Diplo, I think it's the name. I don't know.
Yeah, Diplo, he's a musician.
Yeah, they did
Grandma.
a big show. Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of EDM, but they
Electronic dance music.
they
You gotta translate.
I see this.
Public
Yeah,
access.
they like they buy tickets. Like he took a picture of himself with tickets. I mean, they're excited to go to these things. And when you go to these different, they have an area that's just sound camps, and they're pointing towards the desert, so you can kind of get sleep if you want to sleep.
Right.
It's well planned out. And the sound camps are huge. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of speakers and equipment and stuff. And you don't know who you're going to see because a lot of times different major artists have agreements where they can't play and advertise themselves because they're already tied into contracts. So when you go around different sound camps, they'll give you pieces of information that say who's going to play, but it'll say something like special guest or surprise, who knows. And
cool.
A lot of times the surprise and special guest is somebody really, really famous, like Chemical Brothers or something like that. Yeah.
We should start a band called Special Guest or Surprise.
You should.
One of those.
Why not?
No, wait.
Yep, let's.
And so, last but not least, if people come to Burning Man this year, how are they going to find you? If they want to come bug you, you're going to wear a fancy hat, you're going to be working on airplanes.
I live in the ghetto. DPW has what's called the ghetto, and it's right by, if you just ask for the ghetto, it's notoriously a pretty,
Feel at home, huh?
pretty connected area. Yeah. A lot of people from Michigan actually work there. I'm surprised, but
I would be.
but I'm pretty busy. Most of the workers are pretty busy. You'll probably, if you do see me, I will probably be in a service truck or something like that, driving around, fixing something or rescuing somebody.
So if you want to see Derek Williams at Burning Man, either have something break down or fall into a giant hole that only a tall person could pick you up.
If you, I go by Too Tall out there is my radio handle. So if you ask for Too Tall, like, I'm very tall.
I go by 2 Chains, so that's pretty funny.
It's funny, they call me 2 Chains for a little while too, because we have these large toe chains that I carry around on my neck.
That's funny, man.
But they just don't get hurt and like be careful if you go out there because be very conscious because it's the desert. I mean, it's a very harsh environment. It can, if you don't drink enough water and it's very easy to do that, you can end up in a really bad spot. They have a very large, well-trained medical staff though. They actually have a mobile hospital on site that's included. Like if you get hurt, it's included in the ticket price. Yeah,
awesome.
And they have, I think, the X-ray machine and things like that now. It's a surprisingly large like medical compound. It's neat.
Well, great. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Is there anything else you want to say to our viewers at home, to your fans, to your grandma?
Well, just don't be afraid to do what you want to do here. You know, like wherever you're at. It's kind of like the point of it that's kind of occurred is like there's all these regional set up now, and I encourage people if you can't make it to the big event to make it to a regional or just a related event, which more and more are popping up, and then take that spirit to know that what do you want to see. Whatever craziness or not craziness or whatever you want to see, you can make it happen in your local area, and you should. That's when
You hear that, Otisville? We're coming for you.
we need variation. Like having variety is what makes life fun. And don't be tolerant. Just because I might not want to go to. I don't like to bowl, or something like that. Like I don't want to go bowling, but I'm not gonna. There's nothing wrong with bowling, or if there's people want to play bagpipes, or people want to ride their crazy bicycles down the road, or anything that's weird, like accept it and live it and make it happen. Make whatever. If you want to have a group painting session, if you want to have bands playing in your living room, do it.
If you want to bowl while playing the bagpipes,
I would go see that.
Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Thank you.
And I think we're back to our underwriters, so let's check in with them real quick.
Page's Bookstore is locally owned and located at 132 West 2nd Street in downtown Flint at Buckham Alley. It is a showcase for local authors and artists. Please visit Page's during the Second Friday Art Walk in downtown Flint.
Come visit the Good Beans Cafe at 328 North Grand Traverse, Flint, Michigan in historic Carriage Town.
Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2. Smiling faces. Constantly supporting community and culture. And beyond. The Good Beans Cafe. Yeah. There we go.
And we're back. And you too can be an underwriter for the show for only a $10 donation to your favorite grassroots organization.
Only $10.
Yeah, so we're very lucky today to be live in the practice space and home of the infamous TomToms. We just want to quickly go around the room and do some introductions and tell people at home who you are and what you play.
I'm Kayla Day, and I'm the lead singer.
I'm Elena. I play bass.
Cool.
I'm Steve. I play the drums.
Great.
I'm Chris, and I play the guitar.
And I'm Nick, and I'm really glad to be with you guys today.
We're glad to be with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, buddy.
Oh, of course. So let's talk about the TomToms. Let's like the history. So how did it start? How did you guys get to the kind of group you have today?
Well, Kayla and I have been playing together since since high school.
That's not a camera. That's America.
Hi.
Kayla and I, we played since high school, and about 3 years ago, Elena just started playing bass with us. Originally, we would just kind of be hanging out at the house, and she just started playing the bass with us. Basically, we forced her to do it, and then we just said, "Hey, we have a gig on Friday," and then she had to come out. You know,
which is probably the coolest way to join a band for sure.
Yeah, really. And about a year ago, Steve joined the band, and that's when everything really changed for us. You know, that's when it really got kicked up a notch. You know.
Yeah. Started developing into something special.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking before the show, I said that I remembered the first time I videotaped you was probably at Art Walk. So if people go back, they could find that. I don't know what month that was. That was probably, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, probably.
And then the Spring Grove thing, you guys were out in the field and just standing out in the field, and that was a great thing.
Beautiful setting.
Yes, and you guys sounded so nice. You really did out there in the middle of the field. And then so they could, and that's all out there on video too. People wanted to look it up. Spring Grove, yeah.
So how have things changed since you guys added Steve to the mix?
Well, mainly we used to really focus on doing acoustic stuff, but now it's electric. It's an electric show. It's electric bass, big sound. It was like
Before, when we were just acoustic, I feel like we were really limited as to what we could do and how much we could express ourselves. And now with Steve, we've really developed and matured, I think.
A fine wine.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And you guys are working on an album, right? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Exciting. You want to talk about the album?
Well,
We it kind of just came together. We've been playing these songs forever, and we've become really comfortable. Everybody knows them. Everybody's been waiting for this, basically. And it's really exciting, and building it has been super fun.
Yeah.
We should actually be done recording on Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is really cool.
So yeah, we're hoping to have something up by, mid-February?
Yeah, should be really soon.
Yeah.
I like to also point out the producer on the album was Ashley Peacock from the band Building Birds. Yeah, and he absolutely annihilated it. He gets it. Like, he really got what we were going for. He just, knocked it out of the park. So, Building Birds, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys have a show coming up with Building Birds, right?
Yep.
March 28th at the Flint Local. Yay!
All our viewers know where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And is that going to be their album release, or is that just...
Well, our album should be out by then. We're going to do a digital release, is what we're going to do. So, and we're going to have something physical for people to have, but it's going to be mainly a digital thing, just because it's so expensive to do a physical release, and it just doesn't make any sense to do it in today's market. So
you're going to
try something different.
Like the iTunes or Bandcamp or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
iTunes and all that. So
Cool.
You guys should donate a couple CDs, and you could get free tickets to the art auction in March. And we could auction them off for the art walk.
Oh,
It's a good idea.
That'd be more. That would be a way for you guys to get, stuff out too. Just to have it out there.
Well, if
you
you
don't get the money from it.
If you come to a show, you might possibly be able to get a free CD with maybe 3 songs on it.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing something like that,
So you'll have to
door prize.
purchase it online to get the full
Okay.
effect.
Nice. And so you guys have another show coming up too, right?
Yeah, February 20th at BMO's in Bay City. Yeah. Keeping that gigs down this year. Last year, I think we played something every week. For every week of last year, we played somewhere, and this year we decided, hey, let's just chill out a bit.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, because it becomes like work when you play that often.
Yeah, that's what our rule was.
And we don't want to play, you know,
If it's not fun, why
crappy
do
places
it?
anymore.
Oh, yeah, well, you're scared. If you're scared, yeah, that's another thing. I've attended some of those old crappy concerts before, and it did look scary for the people on stage.
I think initially we did play a lot of gigs in 2014 because we really wanted to gel and kind of capture who we are as a band, and you can really do that. You can discover yourself by being with each other quite a bit, and so we tried to do as many live gigs regardless of where they were at or what the outcome was in regards.
Just for practice.
Yeah, it's just great to cut your teeth out there playing in front of people.
Yeah, camaraderie too in band.
Oh, absolutely.
And we know each other very well.
Yeah.
As far as musically.
Yeah.
Oh, how long have you guys known each other? Now you guys said you played in high school together?
Yeah, well, Chris and I.
We're married.
Yeah.
That's something.
Oh, okay. Oh, I really didn't know. I was gonna
Yeah,
ask.
they're very
Oh,
intimate.
yeah.
They know each other
So,
intimately.
yeah, we've been playing together for about 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
And then Elena has been with us for about 3.5-ish now.
Yeah.
And Steve we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary with
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. What was our first gig? What day was that?
That was in
January.
January of 2014, and it was at Snowfest at the Fisher Hall.
And Frankenmuth.
And I remember I joined the band Monday, and we played the gig Friday,
Yeah.
and we killed it. We played so
Great.
good.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah. Everyone was very surprised because that show, they hadn't really seen a full band TomTom show before.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
we
well,
hadn't seen it either. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
even know what that
I think
was
the
gonna be like.
energy was so crazy high because Steve was with us and it completely changed up our whole sound.
Dynamics.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And, yeah, I mean, everything changed right then.
Yeah.
And it was changed for the better, I think. Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you think that it's better.
Well, I mean, come on.
I was thinking it was too.
I think if you said that it wasn't better, then you would have managed an incorrect opinion. You know, if
I'll
you
go
said
with
it's
that.
not better now, it's like, no, you're wrong. Sorry. It's much better now. Yeah, but yeah, this last year has been really cool, and we've actually, because in the past, on our first album, Plaid, we just kind of went into the studio and just had like lots of fun and made all these cool sounds and stuff, and I like it, but it doesn't really have like a sound to it. It doesn't have like a, oh, this is what the TomToms sound like, because we would have like pianos and orchestras and brass bands and electric guitars and all this stuff, and it was cool, but it just it didn't have like a defining sound to it. So this album, we decided to basically do the exact opposite, and it's literally record Steve playing, record Elena playing, record me playing, record her singing, done, cut it, you know. And Ashley just killed it. And we should also mention that we recorded it mainly at the local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stumbled in on you guys practicing the other day. Where
Yeah.
just you laying down
Yeah.
tracks with Ashley.
Yeah.
Killing it, man.
Yeah.
Ripping it up.
Super fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really cool because it's similar to how like Led Zeppelin recorded, where they would just get the right microphone and put it in the right spot, and then it just you just catch everything, you know.
I think this would be a good time to plug Ashley a little bit as far as a producer and an engineer. I mean, the guy is amazing. And one thing that I shared with him that I'm going to share with the world is Ashley Peacock has this charisma about him that he naturally pulls the best out of you.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about him the most, is he just naturally, I just want to play good for him when because he's working so hard, and I know he's very strategic and very scientific about the way he records rooms and bands, etc. So with that, I just wanted to make everything perfect for him.
Yeah,
You know,
That's the best kind of producer.
He's
to
a
have.
great guy, man. He's not a slave driver. He's a nurturer. And I appreciate that about him.
I think it's good for this show, it kind of links in with this because we recorded it so much at the local. And the reason why we did that was so that the reverb that we had wasn't something that you just, turned on your computer or something like that. It was the reverb that you're hearing on the album is real reverb of the Flint local. We turned it up and it bounces around the room, and then we catch it on the microphone, and that's the reverb that we wanted. Well, we experimented and it just sounded so awesome there that we were just like, yeah, this is what we're using.
Yeah, it's got great acoustics. That room's got real good acoustics.
Oh yeah. And man, I loved the I could talk about, all the little microphone placements and stuff, but
Music nerd stuff.
Yeah. I think
There's probably trade secrets.
Proprietary
Oh yeah,
information.
sure.
So what's the coolest moment you guys have had at a show so far?
What was that?
The coolest moment you've had at a show, or like the strangest thing you saw in your rock and roll career thus
There we
far?
go. Funny story. What is it? What is it?
Oh, I do too.
The Whaley's benefit concert? Yeah. It was the song Bang Bang.
Oh
Right,
my
wasn't it?
God!
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's a spiritual song almost there.
And what happened is God, okay, so the way that song goes is it gets really loud.
Yeah.
It gets really loud and then
Tense.
it stops.
Explosive, yeah.
It kind of...
Yeah.
And anyways, it was about halfway through the song, there's like this pause moment in it, and then Steve said to Elena, hey, your A string is out of tune. And then, for some reason, Elena just stops and starts tuning it, and then we all just kind of stop and we just wait. And then I thought, well, screw it, I'm going to start tuning, so I started tuning my guitar. And then Bill was with us as well, and then Bill went, okay, he starts tuning, and then we all stop, and then we're just kind of waiting. And then
Meanwhile,
Kayla,
the audience is
then
like...
we just came to this big moment, and then they're just sitting there waiting for us to hit the big chord, and
And
we're just
you-
sitting there tuning
and
and,
you-
stuff. And then Kayla says, so are you guys ready? And he goes, okay, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. And then we were just back.
Oh man, cool.
Yeah, right into the
Right
leads.
into Bill's lead, which was killer.
Okay, great. Oh, that's great. Well, were you in the Whaley house? I mean, I thought maybe it was going to be a haunted house story. Yeah.
No, we were at Jester's.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, Jester's. Oh, it was.
was a benefit.
Okay, it was a benefit for that Jester's has. Yes, I think I've been to that before.
I don't know if
too.
the audience enjoyed it that much, but I loved it. I thought that was so much fun. I think they were just like, what are they doing?
That song is great. Oh my God, it's powerful. I mean, that is the one that I also videotaped you singing as I was walking into the machine shop a few years ago. So if you look up that video, I'm not sure what I was doing.
What's
it
been your
for.
favorite venues so far that you guys have played at?
Oh, that's a tough one.
The local's like home.
Yeah,
I'd say
Churchill's is always really fun.
Churchill's is always fun. Hamilton and Hamilton Street Pub out in Bay City.
Yeah.
That place.
Yeah, that is the
has
best
some sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed the Blind Pig, and
Oh,
I,
yeah.
and I
Yeah,
enjoyed
Blind
the Crowfoot as well.
Yeah, Blind Pig and the Crowfoot. Yeah, shoot.
It's hard to choose just one.
I mean, the local's home, though, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, what was the worst? What was the worst? Tell me
That's
some
easy.
horror stories. Come
The
on.
Spider Trap.
Spider-
It's somewhere out in the Clio area.
Okay.
But yeah,
You
we got
can't
booked
find
there.
it on a map, they've removed it.
Right, it's not on the internet or anything. But it was like a total biker bar, and which bikers are great people, no doubt. However, we didn't believe that maybe we were going to be a good fit for that venue, and it was kind of wild because there were no glasses, there were no bottles, it was all
They
solo
didn't
cups.
have a tap. They didn't have
Yeah,
beer
they
on
didn't even.
tap.
They didn't have a tap.
You had
They
to buy canned beer.
They didn't even have a refrigerator, they had a cooler.
It wasn't a bar, it was a club, right?
I think it was. I
It
think
was like-
technically it was a biker club.
Yeah.
Everyone just brought
clubhouse.
their own bottles.
There was
with them anyway.
a heart-shaped hot tub in the back.
Full of
Full of
cigarettes.
cigarettes. Oh, great.
She goes, oh.
Also, I thought it was brilliant. They had decorations for the 4th of July, Christmas,
Halloween.
Halloween,
Saves you a lot of
Easter.
time.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we were just all up, you know.
So we had no idea. We had no idea what to expect, after the first song. But by the beginning of the second song, Kayla had these bikers eating out of her hands.
That's awesome.
Easily. And it was great, and she won them over immediately, and then they really enjoyed, and we enjoyed, actually ended up enjoying playing that. However, we did decide that we're never going to play that.
Just imagine, like,
You're glad to get out of
those
your
old
life.
leather wearing dudes,
It was a little
like,
scary.
yeah, like, who really?
Right.
It was a little scary.
Yeah, it was a lot of like after we played a song, there was a lot of clapping and yeah, a bunch of dudes like yeah,
energy.
Yeah.
and Kayla's like thank you, like a little petite voice. Right?
Yeah, no, she is so surprising too. That's what I was going to say. She's very deceiving. You don't know she's got that big voice until she spelts it out there. It's great. Oh, have you had a lot of voice training? I mean, how do you?
No, just really. I mean, I was in choir in high school, and that's pretty much all the training that I had. Yeah.
She's totally natural.
So I mean, I grew up singing in church.
Okay.
So just soul and gospel.
About the rest of you, did you guys ever go to school for what you do, or you just picked it up, or what?
Yeah, I went to Mott actually for a couple of years, and that's all I studied was music when I was at Mott. And it's cool, you learn how to like arrange for an orchestra and stuff.
Sure.
And I was cool. And I mean all throughout high school, and I took piano lessons as a kid. I've always been into music, and so I mean, I took vocal lessons, and I played a lot of baritone, that thingy right there.
Marching band?
Yeah, marching band.
Any other band geeks here?
I played cymbals my senior year. And in concert band, I played percussion.
You in band?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything. I really don't know anything about music except what I like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really like, if I like it, but I don't know anything about it.
You were trained here at the day school, right?
Yeah, exactly. I actually did take drum lessons when I was younger, oddly enough.
From the guy from the band.
I have a drum. I do have a drum. Yeah, I love that. Do you ever do use your hands and?
Oh no,
like a
I
drum
played the
circle,
drum set when I was younger.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't play it anymore at all. Just this.
But you don't ever play.
No.
I
can't keep a beat as good as I used to.
It's just a drum circle. Everybody just sits around and tries to find their. Well, have you ever been to a drum circle, or did you ever do anything like that?
Yeah, lots of drum circles. And as far as formal training, just like lip sync to what I'm saying. Would be great. As far as formal training, I did about 3 years with Bill Schaefer.
And Flushing.
Yes, the senior, and actually they were in the north end of Flint at that time, so it was a little risky going to drum class on Monday nights. But I did that for 3 years, and I got my foundation with Bill Schaefer, and then after that I kind of just grew my feathers and flew.
And how many bands have you been in before this?
Countless
Oh,
bands.
your craziest band story. It doesn't have to be with TomToms.
Wow. Okay, this is crazy. We were actually the band The Will was blacklisted from the Midwest because we would get into fights and different things pretty much every show. And one of the things we would make a pact at the beginning of every show is like, all right, we're not going to fight. We're going to get paid tonight. We're gonna get paid because we never would get paid. We'd always get kicked out or whatever. So I'm going to tell you a quick story.
Okay, tell us.
Early 90s, probably like 90, 91, we're doing a gig. We're doing this, we were with Don Meadowbrook, who was a promoter, and he would always stick us in these weird places. So we did the Holland House in East Tawas, Michigan, which is not there anymore. We didn't burn it down, but it's not there. So we're doing we had like 3 lineups. We had college top 40, we had 50s and 60s, and we had 70s music. So we could do whatever we want. They brought us in to do 70s music. So we're playing, minding our own business, having a great time, and this biker gang comes into the bar. There's probably 30 guys. All right, so since the second they got there, they want us to play Freebird, they want us to play ZZ Top, they want us to play Peter Frampton, different things like that. Well, we didn't have any of that in our lineup for that night, so we didn't play it. Well, they got very angry with us, and they said, well, if you're not going to play it, then we're going to play it. So they started to come up and to try to take our instruments. Yeah. However, this was the Will, and you don't do that to that band. And at the time, I broke my leg playing football, and I had a cast up to my hip. on my left side. So I was pretty much defenseless with the exception of cymbal stands and drumsticks. So the next half hour was me taking cymbal stands and smashing bikers in the face and getting them off the stage because I can't stand up. I'm standing and I'm kicking drums and I'm doing whatever to get these bikers away from me. And the bass player's got his bass and he's using it like a battle axe and he just keeps swinging it back and forth, trying to keep bikers away from him. And then the state police come in. There's probably 6 state police cars, 2 in each car, 12 cops come in, break up everything, and who gets blamed? We do.
Yeah.
We get escorted out of the city by the state
Well,
police
they had more money.
for our protection.
And then they'd have to pay you.
Well, we didn't get paid.
Yeah.
So we blew it.
Yeah.
So we got busted, escorted, and not paid.
Yeah,
And it
see,
wasn't even our fault.
With the people that own the bar, who are they going to side with? The people they have to pay, or the people that are buying drinks?
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a no-brainer for him.
Yeah.
However, we didn't have gas money to make it to Lupton, Michigan, which was the next night. So thank goodness we had girlfriends that had jobs.
Okay.
It's an old musician, you know.
And that's one of
Get with
many,
that.
many stories with those guys.
Wow.
But us here, I mean, we just don't have those confrontations.
You guys seem a lot chiller. You handle bikers really well, you know.
Less alcohol.
your bass.
He's scared of you. That's why.
Biker would just grab it.
Be nice to the guy with the beard.
Right.
Red slipped.
Yeah, but this band's never had nothing weird happen to.
No.
Not yet.
Everybody's just really kind around us. It's just like,
Well, we have girls in our band, so I think that makes a huge difference.
yeah. I mean,
And they are very sweet and beautiful, so, you know, favor for the pretty people.
Yeah.
Compensate for us.
yeah.
So-
yeah.
So did you guys decide what you're going to play today?
And is it gonna be off your new album?
Yes.
Yep, we're doing tracks, so.
We're gonna play Come a Little Closer.
Mhm.
A fan favorite.
Yep.
Tell us about the story behind Come a Little Closer.
I can tell the story if you want.
One night,
Okay.
actually I think it was Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it was Christmas Eve.
We
yeah.
opened presents and Chris and I had gotten Elena the DVD of The Brave Little Toaster. And we all decided to eat some spaghetti and drink. I think it went we drank and then decided that we needed spaghetti.
Wine. It was wine, right? Drink wine.
No. And they were like, let's
It
write a
was
song
cheap
about the brave little
alcohol, so it
toaster.
was cheap beer.
And so Chris just started playing something on the guitar and I started singing, the brave little toaster, not afraid of the air conditioner.
If you ever watch that movie, there's that
So-
terrifying air conditioner. You know?
So we loved the sound of the song that we had written, but we knew that we couldn't keep it the brave little toaster due to copyright infringement.
Yeah.
So we changed the words to just come a little closer.
Yeah.
And that's how that song.
That's
It just
great.
kind
Awesome.
of
That's
snowballed into what it is
Pretty
now.
deep, huh?
Oh yeah.
It's like a John Lennon kind of a story because he had weird lyrics for his songs too before he figured out.
Yeah, you guys are like the
Paul would write
Beatles. How's that
lyrics
feel?
Yeah.
How about we're like the TomToms?
Oh,
The Beatles are great.
I really gotta ask. I forgot. So you guys didn't have any drums in your band when you started, and yet you were called the TomToms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can,
Yeah.
I'm just confused.
What is?
Yeah.
Where did the TomToms?
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, we were bouncing around band names. We were the Foolish Grins for a long time, and we were Strange Brew. I remember Underwood was one that we went with for a while.
Chris and Kayla.
Chris and Kayla and all that stuff. And I got really frustrated, and I said, Kayla, the next thing that comes out of your mouth is going to be the band's name. And she said, TomToms.
I don't know
And
where
I
it
just
came
went,
from. I don't know.
oh,
I just
shoot,
said it.
I kind of like that, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, that could have been a lot worse. That's a pretty good name.
I was just so angry. I was just like, okay, I don't even care. If you say,
I could have said like Smelly Chris or something.
yeah, I would have stuck with it too. You want to join my band, Smelly Chris?
Smelly Chris and the air fresheners.
That's
good.
That's awesome.
The tree is good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you got anything else you want to say to America?
Oh, do you have any shows to plug or anything like that?
Well-
I'll give you captions.
I think we plugged them already. We got,
Yeah.
what,
Okay.
say it again.
February 20th at BMO's.
Point in the air. We'll have it digitally inserted.
Right here, and oh, it's moving on me.
Oh.
Oh no, I'm not really that good at editing, so just take it easy.
And over there is
Right above Steve. Yep.
yeah, right above Steve is March 28th at the local with Building Girls.
Oh.
And so
Oh. Okay.
yeah, there you go.
Well, great.
I want to
I'm not making this fun for the
if Chris
editor.
If Chris can be quiet for a second, I'd like to thank all the people who's been supporting us in the last year. We have like a really cool, you could call it a fan base, but I call it a friend base. And we just have a tight-knit group of people, and they're very faithful, and they support us in a lot of things. And we're just going to be tugging on them really hard in 2015. Because we're just going to elevate everything this year, and everything's going to be bigger. So I'm pre-thanking everyone for all the work and support. Our publicist, our publicist Liz, our publicist Liz, and she's going to be a big part of what's going on this year. She's also going to be our merchandising coordinator, and if I start naming names, there's going to be someone left out, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But thank you guys, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts, our TomTom hearts.
Mike and Dan.
Everything you guys do for us, and we're just looking forward to producing some really good songs that you can be proud of, and that you can listen to. And 2015 is going to be huge for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I better.
We'll edit it. We'll just thank your wife. We'll say that ending one more time.
And I really want to thank my wife, Susan, for letting me get back into the music business again, because I took 10 years off. Didn't think that I was ever going to come back, but she let me come back. So, baby, thank you so much for letting me come back
And
and
she
be in this
very
cool band.
rarely misses a show.
No, she's
very rarely.
She's my one and only bestest groupie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Really?
Cool.
I thought you were really crying there for a second. Oh man,
I would have to be an actor instead of a musician if I was that good.
And so, if people want to keep with you guys, you got a Facebook page, a website.
We do. We have a website. It's called thetomtoms.com.
Oh,
yeah,
right there.
TomToms.com.
You can get onto the TomToms.com, and there's links to all the social media, and all of our upcoming shows. A lot of interesting factoids, different things about the group will be posted on there. We'll be blogging regularly. And I want to thank Dean Paxton for doing all of our TomToms.com website work. Dean Paxton, he's awesome. If you guys need him for a website, definitely use him. I want to plug that guy because he's been very gracious towards us, and we just want to thank him for sure.
Oh, yeah. Man, is there anybody else we can...
Well...
There's just so much to talk about, really. Yeah. I mean.
Well, I said thanks everybody. So
yeah. So but I mean, like it's like you can talk about all.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean, it's our life.
If you forgot somebody, just don't let them watch the show. You know.
Band teacher.
Yeah.
My band teacher's name was Arthur Fiedler.
So what up to Arthur out there? If you're watching,
Arthur, if you're still alive, baby, thanks for making me sing
making the dream come true. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well. I think our next stop here is we do one of those cool fade outs like in Wayne's World, which, could you help me with that? Do you know Wayne's World?
Yeah. Oh.
You guys, can you do the Wayne's World thing?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the TomToms!
I'll
I want to thank everybody for being on the show today. I want to thank Derek Williams. I want to thank the TomToms, of course, and I want to thank you for watching. Until next time. Peace.
Hip-hop, brought in my head, it just won't stop. Rebels got to find my guy, and so high, super flying. Looking at late at it.